First at 4, breaking news in the hit-and-run death of this 6-year-old girl. What we just learned about the charges against a teenager in this tragic case. Also, activists call his trial a sham. We're tracking what happened today to an American journalist with close ties to Metro Detroit. The harsh sentence and more trouble ahead. Plus, the weather outside isn't too frightful yet, but take a look at the sleet our crews captured over in Howell just a short time ago. Is it a coming attraction for this weekend? Let's check in with Paul Gross.
I'll tell you what, Karen, Sunday is going to get kind of interesting around here. I have some new computer model data, and it's, like I say, the snow, I think, is going to be piling up a bit. So we'll talk about that straight ahead first at 4.
Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
Good afternoon. We do begin with breaking news from Clinton Township, where a crash sends at least 14 people to the hospital. Sky 4 over the scene this afternoon on eastbound Hall Road near Partridge Creek. Police say a passenger van was on Hall when it was hit by an SUV. Investigators say 14 adults inside the van were taken to a nearby hospital, some as a precaution and some with serious injuries. The driver of the SUV has minor injuries. Police are investigating. At least one lane of traffic is open. We do have a crew on the scene gathering more information, and we'll update you when you join us at 5. Also breaking at 4, we are getting our first look at the driver accused in a hit and run that killed a child in Dearborn. 18-year-old Jayon Collins pleaded not guilty to several charges, including leaving the scene of an accident causing death. 6-year-old Batul Afadawi was hit Sunday by an SUV on Bingham Street. Prosecutors say Collins does not have a driver's license and should not have been behind the wheel. If convicted, he faces up to 5 years in prison. We just got the newest COVID-19 numbers from the state of Michigan. The state says there have been nearly 16,000 new cases over the past 2 days. That's a daily average of about 7,900. Now, while this number seems high, it also includes an update after a processing delay we told you about on Wednesday. We've also seen an additional 83 virus-related deaths, with more than half from a vital records review. Well, there is some new heartbreak for the family of this local journalist who's already been held in the country of Myanmar for months. Today, a court slapped him with a very harsh sentence that's being criticized all around the world. Devin Skillian joins us. And Devin, we've been following this closely because Danny Fenster is from Huntington Woods.
And it's heartbreaking news today, Karen. You may have seen some of the signs calling for his release on lawns in suburban Detroit over the summer. Danny Fenster was arrested back in May after the country's military regime accused him of spreading, as they put it, false news. Today, we've learned a court has sentenced the journalist to 11 years in prison. He was found guilty on several charges, including incitement, contacting illegal organizations, and violating visa rules. Now, these are all charges that he denies, but that sentence also comes with hard labor attached to it in a notoriously difficult prison. It's the harshest sentence so far of those given to 7 journalists since the military took over in Myanmar. We're told Fenster wept in court. He has not decided if he'll appeal yet, though his attorney isn't sure it's worth it, or his fear is that Danny doesn't think it's worth it because he knows the military fix is in. Fenster still faces charges for allegedly violating the Counterterrorism Act and a statute covering treason and sedition, so there could be more on top of this. We're hearing from members of Human Rights Watch who are slamming the sentencing.
Obviously, the sentencing is a complete sham, and it's a complete sham trial. And if anything, he shouldn't be there in the first place, and he shouldn't be facing these charges. These are all trumped up. It's not a proper display of justice simply because there is no such thing as due process in Myanmar.
You may recall Fenster was arrested at the airport on May 24th as he was about to leave Myanmar, getting on board a flight back to Detroit to see his family here. The military-installed government has cracked down hard, though, on freedom of the press and is refusing to cooperate with a special envoy who's been trying to mediate a solution to the country's political crisis. Coming up here at 5, we're contacting Michigan lawmakers to see if there's anything else that can be done that can help Danny Fenster. It's horrible news, Karen.
Heartbreaking for him and his family. All right. Thank you, Devin. At this hour, we are awaiting the release of State Representative Joel Jones after a Livingston County judge reinstates his bond. The Inkster Democrat has been locked up for 60 days, accused of violating bond and smuggling a handcuff key into the jail following his drunk driving arrest. If Jones can post bail, Jones will be released into the custody of an elder of his church. He will have a GPS, an alcohol tether, and a 9 p.m. curfew. Prosecutors have offered to allow Jones to plead guilty to several felonies and some misdemeanors while dismissing many other lesser charges. He has until December 10th to decide if he is going to take that plea deal. Well, take a look at this scene outside of Bloomfield Hills High School. This was the situation earlier today. Frustration over a series of alleged racist incidents sparked this student walkout just a few hours ago. Sky 4 over the scene as students protested. They say several incidents have happened online and inside the school, and administrators have been lax in their response. The district sent out a statement last night saying hate speech and racist behavior is not tolerated at the school. Bloomfield Township Police are investigating the incidents. New at 5, we're going to take you to the school to hear from some of the students involved. All right, earlier we showed you some of that sleet over in Howell. The winds are picking up in downtown Detroit the weekend. Not really looking very promising. Meteorologist Paul Gross joins us now with the Friday forecast. Hi, Paul.
Hey, Karen, 1 week ago, I told you, get the stuff done last weekend outside because this weekend wouldn't be so nice. And I just hope you heeded those words of wisdom. Right now, Storm Tracker 4 showing just a few scattered light showers. Any heavier shower could have, as Karen just mentioned, and as we just showed you, a little sleet in it. But just diminishing area of showers right now. All right, 4-zone weather. We have 47 in Troy and Livonia, 49 in Taylor. In our south zone, 46 in Dundee, 48 in Carlton, 41 in Saline. That's all. 42 in Milford Township, 43 in Howell, 43 in Whitmore Lake. And in our north zone, 45 in Melvin, 44 in Deckerville. Still 52 degrees over in the Blue Water area there at Port Huron. So through the evening, quickly falling through the 40s into the upper 30s by late evening. Diminishing showers. And coming up in just a few minutes, we'll time out those showers. We'll show you the wintry mix on Saturday, and we'll get into some great detail on that snow on Sunday. Karen, see you in a few.
All right, thank you, Paul. Legal battles over the tragedy at the Astroworld Music Festival continue to mount, and we're hearing from an attorney for rapper Travis Scott. Today, well-known attorney Ben Crump claimed he's filing suits on behalf of more than 200 people who were physically or psychologically damaged during the crowd surge at the festival in Houston. So far, 9 people have died from injuries suffered a week ago today. Several investigations are already underway. Many are asking how the chaos was allowed to happen and why Travis Scott didn't respond more quickly while on stage. Now, his attorney says it was hard for Scott to know exactly what was happening.
You have pyrotechnics all around you, flash pots going off. So there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of light. It's the middle of the night. You have ear monitors in your ear with music blasting and your own voice blasting in your head. You can't see things that are going on out there. He certainly couldn't see the magnitude of what was happening.
We are following all the investigations closely. Meantime, a 9-year-old boy injured in the chaos remains in a medically induced coma, and that's according to his family. The state's new chief medical executive has been on the job now for just a few weeks. Dr. Natasha Bagdasarian took over when Dr. Janae Khaldun stepped down in late September. Now, it's clearly a tricky time for a transition. Local 4's Grant Herms spoke with the new top doc about navigating the many difficult issues surrounding the COVID-19 pandemic.
Dr. Natasha Bagdasarian has been a part of MDHHS's pandemic response since last July, meaning much of her approach will look a lot like what MDHHS is already doing. But she talked with me about mask mandates, fighting misinformation with transparency, and the potential to pivot again in this pandemic as cases continue to rise.
Michigan's new interim top doctor, Dr. Natasha Bagdasarian, sitting down one-on-one with Local 4, saying her first order of business is to keep encouraging Michiganders to get the vaccine, with rates stalling for months as the spread of COVID is high again.
People who had been excited and anticipating the vaccine, they got vaccinated right away. They got vaccinated as soon as they could. And then we had people who were a little bit more hesitant, and we continue to make slow, steady progress, but nowhere near what we were doing back in the spring.
She also says part of her position is combating misinformation about COVID and the vaccine, which may mean changes in the approach to explaining changes in state guidance.
The data continues to evolve. We continue to get new information. There are new variants coming out. And so part of that will need us to pivot. We'll need to change advice and change recommendations when needed.
Bagdasarian has also been a vocal supporter of mask mandates. And while she says there are no plans for a broad mandate in schools, she does say masks should remain in schools until vaccination rates rise.
So if vaccine uptake remains low in this new age group, the 5 to 11 age group, that won't be enough to really ensure that outbreaks aren't happening in our schools. So I think we're going to continue to recommend smart mask policies going into the winter and until we're really in a different phase of the pandemic.
And the doctor said that everybody needs to get their annual vaccinations as well, namely the flu shot and then the booster shot if you're eligible right now. She said that there's a lot of concern as people move back indoors as the weather gets colder and cases again are continuing in the wrong direction. In Detroit, Grant Herms, Local 4.
Still ahead, first at 4. For months, we've been following the Free Britney movement. Today could be a critical turning point for the pop star. We'll explain. Also, new decisions from the judge in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, plus what comes next in the case everyone's been talking about this week. But first, she made history at the Tokyo Olympics, but even a gold medal winner isn't immune from racist attacks. This champion's disturbing story. Next.